It's about that time, y'all. Got a final, 30-minute countdown to what's kind of a later slate for our main slate. And it's about 6:20, I believe it is, Central Time. And we've already got some movement with our final lineups. Teams are dropping those roosters little by little. I've got a lot of NBA stuff. The Blue Jays just dropped theirs about 18 minutes ago. We could be nearing the end of them. Not too many surprises there, but we do got some surprising scratches. Let's look at that real quick. Actually, we need to talk first and foremost about the weather. The San Diego Padres taking on Atlanta in hot Atlanta. And looks like the worst of that weather is going to stay clear of the ballpark, according to Roto Grinders weather. Oh, man, we got somebody knocking on the door. Let's see who it is. I'll be damned. This handsome bearded bastard with his hot Atlanta polo on. I like that polo, by the way.
What's good, man? What's going on? Welcome. I'm looking at this slate, and I'm sure you are too here as we're getting ready to get your final slate. There's a lot of pitchers you can pick on tonight. A lot of young pitchers you can pick on.
Yeah, pitching looks good, man. Even some older pitchers that we might want to pick on based off of some BVP stats. Not to jump ahead of the gun here. Ahead of the gun? Not to jump the gun. Get ahead of the something else.
Jump ahead of the gun.
Yeah, I'm going to jump ahead of the gun and let it shoot me by telling you that I'm really wanting to build around Mookie versus Mad Bum tonight. Okay. As far as our offense goes, first and foremost, let me pull this up real quick. Mookie, 2.4 DraftKings points per plate appearance against lefties. Okay, that alone is strong enough for me. And he's already most of the Roto guys, Roto Grinders, Roto Wire, Roto World, Roto Ball. I don't know. Is Roto Ball a thing? I think it is. They probably all have Mookie.
Well, Mookie's faced Madison 19 times in his career, 18 at-bats officially, 6 hits. He does have 2 home runs. He's a batting average of .333 according to Baseball Savant, but that's only 19 at-bats. So I don't know if you really want to take that to heart, but that's still decent numbers, if you will. His slugging's pretty good against him, .733 as well. I wouldn't rule against it. Madison Bumgarner's had some rough goes, and especially in the National League West, we've seen that for his entire career. You put that crazy Dodger lineup who are not doing as well as they hope. They got to find a chance to step forward. This could be that game, especially against a guy like Madison Bumgarner, who hasn't always done well against a team like the Dodgers.
Yeah, and 19 plate appearances it's better than what you're going to find with a lot of these guys, especially in a small slate like tonight. It's only 5 games. It was looking like it might have been just 4. But
right.
It looks like the Storm's going to miss the ballpark in Atlanta, so we're clear there. But yeah, one of the telltale signs, if the only language you speak is DraftKings, a good place to start would be Madison Bumgarner's $7,000 price tag. He's not the Madison Bumgarner that used to near the 11 grand mark, And the reason he costs $7,000 on DraftKings is because he has kind of leveled out, reaching the end. I don't want to say the end of his career, but he's in the twilight years. If he were a TV sitcom, he would be the Golden Girls right now.
Nice.
You like that?
Very nice. I do. How about Brandon Woodruff? What's he going for on DraftKings tonight? Because he only has a batting average against this current Cardinals lineup of $194.
Yeah, that's below the Mendoza line for them, and he's at 10 grand. But listen, man, Woodruff, Kershaw, Jack Flaherty, Chris Bassett against Toronto, Jared Schuster against Atlanta, Pat Sandoval against the Angels, Nick Martinez against the Pods, Mackenzie Gore, who's kind of fell as well against the Nats,
He's still raw.
Very raw. Mad Bum against the Dodgers. I said against in all those. Those are the teams they play for. Of the of Washington,
Mhm.
Jose Urena against with Colorado. I like some of these guys, but for the price tags and the opponents, man, come on. It's a no-brainer for me tonight to take the top two pitchers, Woodruff and old Clayton, don't call me Sammy Kershaw, but he's still going to be playing Cadillac style tonight. Those are my top two picks.
Yeah, I
And
like the
number
Brandon
one with a
Woodruff
book.
page.
Yeah, listen, he's my SP2. Technically, he's SP2 because I do have Kershaw projected above him as the Cardinals. They're not the Cardinals that, turned it on at the end of the year last season. But, I mean, listen, man, Brandon Woodruff owns the Cardinals more times than not, and I'm not trying to jinx anything, knock on that wood, but I'm locking him in at SP2 with Clayton Kershaw at SP1 against Arizona. Even in Arizona, I'm not afraid of that.
I'm going to go on
9,700 for him.
While you're adding the rest of it, I'm going to go on a little hot take here. I think Woodruff does great, but I know there's a lot of controversy going on with St. Louis and a certain guy named Tyler O'Neill. He's just getting back into the lineup tonight and putting him in center field. The reason behind it's not because of his lack of play or his effort. I think it's because of how well he's hit against Brandon Woodruff. Brandon Woodruff has 160 plate appearances against his current St. Louis Cardinals and have allowed 5 home runs. 3 of them have been from Mr. Tyler O'Neill. So I think somebody's playing with a chip on his shoulder tonight. That's Mr. O'Neill. And I would not be shocked to see that guy go off and maybe hit a couple extra base hits, if anyone. So I think Woodruff does well. But if you're going to play anybody in your lineup, maybe to go against and counter Woodruff, maybe O'Neill's not a bad little value pick.
Yeah, not only that, but the fact that if you want to really look at ownership, I mean, there's no better way to get ownership than to go against the top pitcher on the slate, the top priced pitcher, even if we're going to talk in that manner, But Tyler O'Neill, man, what's the news with him?
So the reason they said that he didn't hustle when he was turning from third base to home. Now, Tyler O'Neill hustle compared to about every other player hustle is night and day because he's super fast, right? But
he can burn.
Also big muscles, so he's got to run a little more cautiously to protect the injury, something that he dealt with all last year. And you could tell that he wasn't running at full Tyler O'Neill pace. It was probably still ×2 of any other outfielder on that team now that Harrison Bader's no longer on the Cardinals. However, there seemed to be a little disagreement between the management and Tyler O'Neill, saying that if you're not going to give your full effort, then you don't deserve to be in the starting lineup, and he was benched for it. So I think it's starting to be the writing on the wall, if you will, because there is a surplus of outfielders with St. Louis. So I think that we might be seeing the possibility, the beginning of the end for O'Neill in Cardinal red, because the Cardinal way probably means if there's an issue, he's probably going somewhere else. Cardinals will need starting pitching at the deadline. Tyler O'Neill seems to be the odd man out at this moment.
It's wild that Tyler O'Neill will be the odd man out to me.
With Lars Nootbaar, with Jordan Walker, and with Dylan Carlson all being the younger people with players of control, with years of control, and you have to worry about other contracts like Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, and now Wilson Contreras. He has to be the odd man out, as he's going to be the next one up for getting the next paycheck.
Man, but you said it right, though. Tonight, Brandon Woodruff, he's had their number. We don't expect him to come in and just, throw a no-hitter. So don't be afraid to roster Brandon Woodruff at 10K. There's not a lot going on in the slate. 5 games, there's only so much that can happen, So I'm rostering Brandon Woodruff and Clayton Kershaw, locking them both in, building around them. If you want a value pitcher, there are value pitchers to be had. It just depends on how you feel about the opposition. And tell you what, I'm going to lock in these positions real quick. And once I do that, I'm going to jump back over to our pitchers. And if you want to look at value pitching, Pat Sandoval for the Angels, he's got Toronto. Okay, now I do have him projected at around 18 points, just a little bit under 18 DraftKings points. It's nowhere near what I think Kershaw and Woodruff are going to get, but he is my third man. At 8,500, I think that's a lot of value. The game is going to be in LA, so him on home turf. I think he's probably the guy that you want to grab if you want to fade the top price guys.
Absolutely. Not a big sample
Yeah,
size for this guy. 33 plate appearances for not even the majority of the big names on Toronto's lineup, like no Vladimir Guerrero. He's never faced him. But out of those 33 plate appearances, only 3 hits, 7 strikeouts. He is giving a buck 115 for batting average. So not a lot of work done against Sandoval here for the Blue Jays. But like I said, there's no Vlad Guerrero in that mix. There is a Bo Bichette twice, but and same with George Springer. But there's a lot of question marks, but Sandoval really did show his own last year, especially in the second half of the season. See if he steps it up again in this first half. The Angels need that. They really need that this year with what pushing towards that playoffs.
well, we've got some notable scratches tonight. First off, Michael Harris. He's gone on the 10-day DL. I believe it was the 10-day DL. He was projected to play for the majority of the day today. And I was building, I don't want to say I was building around him, but I was definitely including him in my outfield. So that kind of, I don't want to say it threw a wrench into the plans, but knowing that he's not going to be there really opened up maybe some room to find a spot for maybe my guy Garrett Mitchell, maybe. And maybe I'm just being a homer. You know, I don't like to be a homer. Yes, I do. I'm always a homer.
Hey, look, Jack Flaherty's numbers look a lot better than they should right now. He got out of a lot of good jams in his first outing. Yeah, he had a no-hit game, but he also had 7 walks. The first 3 innings, they were stuck with bases loaded, or he got out of it with a double play. His infield helped him out a lot. I think that this is not a bad night if you're going to pick on a guy like Jack Flaherty. He's got a lot to prove, and he's going against another tough guy, like you mentioned, with Brandon Woodruff. So if you're going to maybe put one of those homer picks or one of those value picks you think can take off, I wouldn't be afraid to put it against a guy like Jack Flaherty. Not at all.
Well, the other one was Bryce Terang, you know, and I'm looking at the price tags as far as Garrett Mitchell goes. Let me find that schmuck. Where is he at? He's in the 2,600, man. To get a $2,600 guy, he's batting the 6 hole, and that's okay. But geez, man, just the extra base possibility, the home run possibility, stolen base possibility. The dude can move. I mean, he's not Tyler O'Neill fast, but he's dang fast. And his rookie grades or his scouting grades were very much in the athlete level, not just ball player level. So,
well, man, I'm gonna let you finish this off. I just wanted to stop in. I didn't have too much time, but you finish this lineup. I'll be tuning in, and if you're paying attention to this one, make sure you play it because you've been hitting. I know you have because my DraftKings account's going up too. So take it easy, brother.
Take it easy, my man. Thank you, Christian, for dropping in. Yeah, guys, listen. He knows what he's talking about. Listen to this dude, Rufus. He knows what he's talking about. Okay, we're back at it. So let's look at the slate overall again. Notables not playing: Michael Harris from Atlanta, Luis Rengifo, second base for the Angels, Alan Trejo, second base for Colorado, Eleuris Montero. You like that? You didn't know I could do that, did you? Also Colorado, third base. And then the Fresh Prince, Will Smith, in LA is not going to be playing. I kind of liked that Will Smith pick. And I actually had him in my all day. I like to call it a dummy roster. So those dum-dums are going to kind of give me my guideline throughout the day. I'd try to find something early on that I could really play. And then from there, improve each position as I can. Will Smith stayed in there for the majority of the day until he got scratched, until that lineup came out. But we're gonna sew this thing up really good, see what we can get going. I do believe my positions are in place, my pitchers are in place, my batters are in place. Let me make sure I don't have any stragglers out there who are new to the data model because, we got those rookies playing. So, especially in Milwaukee. So, yeah, Will Smith's not going. Danny Jansen for Toronto's not going. Miguel Rojas, man, he's not playing. Shortstop. Dalton Varsho's going to be out. Jake McCarthy's out. So, I mean, there's room for some value. And we're going to see where we can find that value right now. Make sure that everything is in place, and I believe it is. Guys, it's time to optimize this thing. I hope you played the last roster, by the way. I believe this was Monday or Tuesday. Yandy Diaz went off. Teoscar Hernandez went off. Man, it was a whale of a lineup, and it did great. So I hope you were able to get in on that. Let's see what else we've got going on right now. And I'm really ecstatic about that storm missing in Atlanta. All right, we've got a catcher, first base, second base, third base, shortstop, outfield. Oh, yeah. See, one of the things that gets me is the sample size. Like, do we trust when a guy like Bryce Terang is in the lineup and you have $500 left over? Yeah, I trust it. You know why? Because in a slate like this one, if you were to go and look at the perfect lineup of the night on Swish Analytics, this is after the fact, by the way. Very rarely are you going to see $50,000 as the cost of said lineup. So, with that being said, more times than not, I'm not going to be too nervous about having money left over. Okay, it's not even a concern of mine. So I'm going to run these numbers real quick, and I believe we're getting very close to locking this thing down. And if you guys have any ideas as you're listening, I mean, chime in. Chime the hell in, because I'm down with it. All right. Why did I think Eliuris Montero was out? I'll find out. Was I wrong about that? No, he's batting fifth. I misspoke earlier. He's batting fifth in Colorado. He has not been scratched. That one is en moi. That's French for me. Okay, so yeah, like I said, Brandon Woodruff, Clayton Kershaw, that's SP1 and SP2 without a doubt. And since Will Smith got scratched, I'm going to roll with Austin Barnes. All right, he's going to be backing up Will Smith looks like batting ninth, but 2,400, man. I think we can do that. 2,400 with plenty of plate appearances last season against lefties, and 1.7 points per plate appearance against that. But what are our choices at catcher tonight? Kybert Rees, 3,200. Surely we can do something there. Bill Contreras against Jack Flaherty. Who's got the top numbers against their respective hands? All right, so Wilson Contreras, William Contreras, and Logan O'Hoop. Let's disregard Logan O'Hoop. Let's disregard Logan and look at the Contreras guys. William Contreras and Wilson Contreras. Both guys are they're scraping up 1.82 and 1.83 respectively. DraftKings points per at bat against righties. Contreras is facing Flaherty. William is facing Flaherty. Wilson facing Brandon Woodruff. Who would you rather face? I mean, I know who I'd rather face, but that's a tough one. We can let's look at maybe fading some of these low in the order guys, especially some of the low plate appearances. So I'm gonna go ahead and fade Bryce Terang and Austin Barnes, and I'm gonna see what we can get closer to what we're looking for, because I know there's some pop in the catchers tonight. But he's not a bad alternative, if I'm being honest, because 1.7 points per plate appearance is not that far from 1.82. It just isn't. So I think we can do a little bit better. get a little bit more maximized on everything. Okay, this is more like it. Sean Murphy is taking on Nick Martinez, and that is one of the better run lines on the night. The worst run line of the night would be Mackenzie Gore. We're going to pick on him a little bit, I believe. But you look at Nick Martinez, and he's right up there. He's one of the guys to pick on tonight. So let's say we take Sean Murphy. See, now that brings me to another thought. We've got Ezekiel Tovar in Colorado, and he is batting ninth. Doesn't have very many plate appearances, but he's against Mackenzie Gore. And Mackenzie Gore, again, one of those guys we want to pick on. I think we can get away with this one because we're filling out that price, that salary, that salary cap at $50,000. So as long as we have everybody, there's a catcher, there's a first base, there's second base, there's third, short, outfield. Hey guys, we got this thing sewn up. All right, so Woodruff, Kershaw at pitchers, SP1, SP2. Then we've got Sean Murphy. Well, let's go ahead and lock him in. Sean Murphy, batting fifth against Nick Martinez. At first base, man, I know you're going to like this one. Matt Olson. He's got a batting stance like one of those guys from Bases Loaded. Hope you've played Bases Loaded in your life. If not, you've missed out. Second base, we're still going with Mookie Betts. It's funny to roster him at second base. Third base, Eleuris Montero, Colorado. I like him against Mackenzie Gore. Shortstop, we're going with Ezekiel Tovar. What happens if we use Bryce Terang in that spot? Because I do like him more. I'm having an idea, guys. Let's not get crazy. All right. I'm going to fade Austin Barnes for now, because we still got 10 minutes to go. We'll be done in the next 2 minutes. But I'm going to get this lineup straightened out for everybody. We've got Bryce Terang just looks too good right now. And I like that lefty on righty matchup. And Christian said it right. Christian absolutely said it right. Jack Flaherty has gotten away with more than he should this season. So I like Bryce Terang tonight. To hell with it. Hell with it, boys. All right, let's try this one more again. Sean Murphy at catcher. Shohei Ohtani at first base. We're not even going to go with Olsen. We're going to go with Shohei Ohtani. He's batting third against Chris Bassett. Second base, catcher. First, second, third. Oh, no, we don't have a shortstop. Well, there's one way to fix that. Second base and shortstop. We're going to raise those maximums, or those minimums, rather. All right, guys, if you've been listening, this is how it goes at the end of the night, man. When the balls are flying, you got to make these decisions on the go. You know what I'm saying, Daddy? On the go. So as this is running, let me make sure that I don't start anything I can't finish here. Catcher, first, second, third, short, outfield. Daddy, we are sewn up. All right. Brandon Woodruff, Clayton Kershaw at pitcher. Catcher, we are going with Sean Murphy, that handsome devil. First base, we are back to Matt Olson. So let's lock him in. Second base, I believe we are still with Mookie. Yes, we are. Mookie Betts at second base. Third base, Eleuris Montero from Colorado. Shortstop, Bryce Terang, my freaking man, Bryce Terang. Outfield. Oh, I really like this one. Please tell me he's against a lefty. Yes, sir. JD Martinez. We're going JD Martinez against Mad Bum. JD Martinez, man, if you've ever paid attention to baseball for even a moment, you know JD Martinez crushes lefties, and I like him against lefties. He's actually got the third best numbers against lefties in today's lineup, and that's only it's actually second to Mookie Betts if you want to consider plate appearance count. Garrett Mitchell would be number 2. But after JD Martinez, our next guy is Garrett Mitchell. I know you guys are going to blame me for going with the homer pick here, but that's just the way it goes, Daddy. And then last pick, Mr. Irrelevant, and he's not very irrelevant, is Alex Call. He's batting leadoff against Colorado, and he's only got a price tag of $2,500. You see a guy with a $2,500 price tag, and he's leading off. I don't care if he's facing Nolan freaking Ryan. You take him. If he's batting leadoff at $2,500, you take him. No questions asked. I'm going to line this thing up one last time. Brandon Woodruff, Clayton Kershaw, Sean Murphy, Matt Olson, Mookie Betts, Eliuris Montero, Bryce Terang, JD Martinez, Garrett Mitchell, Alex Call, and that right there is a wrap, Daddy. So get them locked in, and we will catch you next time. Choke up on the bat. Stay alive.